Hello guys, haircut and hair color for the body types. Today we're gonna talk about dramatic body type. If you're new to my channel, I have a huge Kibbe body types playlist. I'm gonna leave the link down below. Before you watch this video, I also recommend you to watch this video, haircut and hair color, and how they combine together because not every haircut looks good with every hair color. And I'm just explaining some basic rules there. Today we're gonna be more specific about your particular body type. So let's go. Let's see what David Kibbe says about haircut for dramatics.
Hair should always be sleek and sculpted, usually swept off the face to emphasize your chiseled bone structure. The shape is always geometric. There's little note in the book which describes two models who were dramatics in this book. The model in the book has a very curly hair texture, but it is styled in a strong asymmetrical outline and is full-looking, not sleek. Kibbe writes, her hair is cut into a geometric shape with an asymmetrical outline, appropriate for her thick and coarsely textured curls. The other model has very straight hair, and it is styled very sleekly and smooth. You might not look as good in overly soft, coiffed, or wispy hair. There is nothing more aging for you than this look. Soft hair hanging in or covering your face, fluffy bangs, feathery sides, etc.
Here's what David Kibbe says about hair color for dramatics.
Hair color should be vivid and distinct, whatever the hue, blonde, brown, red or black, or intensity, light, medium, dark. Overall color processes are best for the rich type of colors. You do not highlight well because this process mutes the intensity and results in a washed-out look. Never try to soften your hair color. This is the single most damaging thing you can do to your look, and it will be extremely aging on you.
Now let's look at some celebrities examples.
So this is Olivia Culpo, and I'm just gonna show you these two pictures to compare her hair colors. She's very contrasted. She has dark eyes and dark hair. She almost always has this sleek bob or slightly longer hair. Sometimes she goes for waves, but every time she goes for that very sleek hairstyle. And sometimes she goes for bangs too, which is great. Now we can see on the right pictures she still has great makeup, great lighting, and amazing hairstyle that is adding to her dramatic essence, dramatic look. And it's not giving us big contrast with her angular and very dramatic bone structure. However, the color is a little bit too dull for her, and we would notice it with real lighting and without any makeup or with minimum makeup. As far as our look consists of many elements, not just hair color or just hairstyle, we can make everything else work for us to such a degree that one or two wrong elements would not be that visible. And this is that case. Jamie Lee Curtis, I just have 3 pictures to show you. In the center, she has this very nice and very clean hair color, which is medium in brightness, but it looks good for dramatics because it's clean and it suits to her. It's probably close to her natural hair color. On the left, it's a big no-no. First of all, it's artificial, slightly yellowish, brassy, and rounded hairstyle. I know it's a wig, probably that was for fun, but it's just a good representation of Kibbe rules for dramatics. In contrast with that hair, your bone structure is gonna be much more angular than you actually are. It's just not gonna fit you. It's gonna look alien on you and very dotty. And on the right is absolutely beautiful. Her hair grayed naturally into this very white color. Amazing hairstyle, very minimalistic, very sleek. So you can see sometimes boyish haircuts look great on dramatics if we compare them to flamboyant naturals. On flamboyant naturals is gonna be a no-no. On dramatics, that works. Also great dress just for dramatics and amazing makeup. So that is a very dramatic look. Now let's go to Taylor Swift, and this is her natural hair color. We can see that she's quite light in coloration and she's quite ashy and muted. Her natural hair color looks amazing on her. It's quite rich actually in its own tone. This tone is medium, ashy blonde. She looks great with these heavy bangs, which is across her forehead. Her eyes pop in this case. On the left, she has this more natural hairstyle, but it's away from the face, which is great. She has amazing makeup, amazing top, and of course, the photo was made with a very good lighting, so all that fits to her. Here she has this bleached blonde bob with bangs, and I love the minimalism of this look. Even though dramatics look a little bit better with more sleek hair and straight or just more geometric in general, nothing too wispy, wet effect. All that normally is adding a lot of noise to their look, but in this case I like it because of the red lips, platinum blonde color, all that is very pure and sleek and clean. Of course it's a photo session, it's a lighting, and basically you can make anything work for you with a good photo session with great makeup, great light and stuff. Here she has this 40s hairstyle and makeup. The shapes look amazing on her. Normally they look beautiful with sleekness of the 20s and 30s. The curls don't look too rounded for me actually. They even look slightly pressed to the head, which I like very much because it gives us that slightly elongated shape, not too rounded and puffy. However, the color I don't like on her. I can see that it's not her color. I think she's a little bit more dull than that. But for the photo you can make anything work. Here again, it was probably from one of her clips, so I think this cool brown color looks much better on her than that black. Again, overall color, no balayage, no highlights, which is great for her. A very cute look actually, and I like the hairstyle too. Here, I think she has a wig, correct me if I'm wrong. And again, we have this 2000s famous coloration. Yellow stripes right from the roots. They were not darkening the roots, and I talk about it almost in each of the video in this series. For some reason, it was very popular in 2000s when they were bleaching or lightening the top of the head and the ends were darker. They did not darken the roots, which from my viewpoint is a huge no-no, especially nowadays. If I saw someone with this kind of hair color now, I probably would just suggest to darken the roots slightly. It would resolve the problem. The hairstyle is great. Very rich bangs across the forehead, that long hair, all that suits to her very much. Now another dramatic, Michelle Dockery. She has very contrasted coloration, very dark hair, very light skin, and very dark eyes. So that hair color is natural for her, which looks amazing on her. And of course, this hairstyle is quite sleek, slightly elongated, and looks great on her. Now, when women like that with such a contrast go for that yellow blonde, that looks very artificial, very tiring on them. Even though the hairstyle here I love, but not with this color. It's very aging and tiring on them normally. It's quite hard to make it actually work for them. Now let's look at some pictures of Kristen Wiig. I assume this is her natural hair color and this is dark brown. Her eyes, however, are light. Probably it's dark blue color. Normally women with that coloration can go blonde, but it has to be a certain blonde. Here she has this hair that would look great on naturals, and normally on dramatics it looks quite tiring. Not bad, but it's lacking that contrast and sleekness. So on all these three pictures we can see both shape and color are softened. Here as well, it's not bad. She has these dark roots and her hair is quite elongated and more or less sleek, but still with some lightness on the ends, with some untidy beachy waves. It gives us more natural look, which is just slightly blurring their features. Here as well. However, I like the hairstyle. That sleekness on the back is not bad on her. It's just you can see that makeup, the hair color, everything is too blended for her. Again, it gives that tiring effect. Plus that dress and that jewelry on the right. All that is just not for dramatics. It can cheapen the look sometimes. Then she got a bit older and then she had that interesting change in her look. And I actually like it very much. It's very interesting. This hairstyle looks very close to her natural hair. It's very dark brown, cool color. I like the makeup and I like this sleek hairstyle. And here's that difference sometimes with flamboyant naturals with this boyish hairstyle. Flamboyant naturals normally look more massive on top with this kind of hairstyle and their body just looks much larger than their head. Not always, sometimes. But for dramatics, it's more suiting normally because they have thinner bone structure. Here she also has this pixie haircut but with bleached hair, and I also like it. I think the makeup here is a little bit too blended. On the other hand, this is that photo session by the sea, so I would not want to see her with bright makeup in this particular environment. So they did enough things to make her look not tired. She has this tan, she has this warm colors on her cheeks, so overall it gives that good contrast with the bleached hair, and I love the clothes. I like this hair too. I like both hairstyle and hair color. I also like these two pictures. It's sleek, it's small, and her body doesn't look too large with it. Her face can pull that off. Her face has thin bones. Maybe it doesn't have super sharp bones, but it's quite thin and slightly elongated. On the left, we have this more geometric side-swept bangs, which is quite straight and quite sharp looking, with this very bright blonde. And I like it, even though she has some dark roots, but the contrast of this balayage is much bigger than what she had before. Clean look is the most important thing for them, so even if they go for balayage, it's better be more contrasted, thicker, brighter, and cleaner. So this is what we see here. Same on the right. Even though she has this wave, she has this more geometric outline of her hair. so that looks super much in harmony with her bone structure, with her shoulders, with her neck. Nothing is sticking out. Keira Knightley, and this is her natural hair color, very dark brown. She also has light skin and quite contrasted dark brown eyes. She used to have this slightly untidy rock and roll straight long hair, but I think with this kind of makeup, with the fact that this hair is her natural hair color, its overall color, I like this look. I think this untidiness doesn't spoil the overall effect. If the hair here was more sleek and more tidy, I think that would be a bit better for the look. She doesn't look that bad with bleached hair either. However, to me, it's quite hard to evaluate this picture because this is a picture. Maybe it's from the movie, I don't know, but lighting, makeup, maybe even retouching of the photo, everything looks great here. The hair is sleek, it's on the back, its overall color is bleached, amazing makeup. I think it's very dramatic photo itself. But I would like to see her in real life with this hair color because still naturally she has very dark hair, and to fully support her natural eyes, that would be still better with a natural hair color in my viewpoint. Now, problems start when we want to lighten our hair slightly to soften the look. So she had that period in her life when she had that slightly brassy yellowish hair, when she wanted to go slightly lighter. So it softened her look. Of course, here the makeup is saving the whole situation. If her makeup was a little bit more dull and more calm in colors, that would really blend her contrast and make her look very tired, along with this hairstyle as well. The bluntness of the bob is another element that is saving the situation. If her ends were more layered, more wispy, and they were kind of curling outwards, lying on her neck, that would be much worse. But normally those slightly wet beachy waves don't look tidy enough on dramatics. They lose their elegance with that, unfortunately. Here, same hair color, but how different she looks with sleekness of her hair. It's funny because at the beginning I thought it was a bob, but then I saw those longer hair sticking out by her neck. I think it's quite strange, and I would just get rid of them and just keep her with that very clean and geometric bob. Good makeup also, slightly on the border, but still intense enough to support her dramatic bone structure. So here I just would make her hair color back to her natural and just cut off that strange sticking out hair on the bottom. The rest is stunning. Then she also had this period in her life when she had this pixie haircut. I still think the dramatics look a little bit better with pixie that is slightly away from their face, slightly opening their forehead. This kind of a cut softens too much, especially along with this softened hair color. Now, this look in my viewpoint is not her best. First of all, she has this too soft hair. It's too curly, too rounded, too soft. She has this soft hair color, which is much lighter than her natural hair color. You can see how her eyes are just absolutely separate on this picture. Everything else is light, gentle, creamy. This very gentle blue cardigan, those rosy lips, those slightly golden curls. Everything else is just absolutely separate, and her eyes are just added there in Photoshop. So this is one of my favorite looks on her. Everything sings same song. This is just her. Now let's look at Claire Danes. She's quite light in coloration, and I think this is her natural hair color, dark ashy blonde. Her eyes look slightly green to me, but maybe it's just pictures. Her natural color is not bad for her. If you are dramatic and you have similar hair color naturally, it's great if you keep it the way it is. It actually looks quite intense and quite rich if you just keep it the way it is. Now, many things just depend on a hairstyle. In the center or on the left, the hairstyle is much better because it's more thick in the ends, it's more blunt, it's more sleek, so it looks great. On the right, unfortunately, it's not for dramatics. All the sharp features are sticking out and it just looks dowdy on them. Now, this was very popular in the 90s. And in the beginning of 2000s, I had a similar situation. And I even remember what kind of excitement I had about this. You know what? The volume on top, plus an updo. Kind of like that empty neck situation. Of course, not many of you are gonna do this hairstyle nowadays. I understand that. But I just wanted to show you how that hair, when it's sticking out, when it's too layered, when it's too shaggy, is just not fitting to their more clean facial features and their natural beauty just in general. Here, I love the hairstyle on her. I'm not sure if I'm loving this color. Still, I feel like she needs something less bright than this. Maybe a little bit muted would already do its job. Maybe lighter. Now this is a better picture because we can see her outside. On this picture we can see much more realistic colors. And I can tell you that this hair color is way too heavy on her, even though sometimes dramatics can look quite nice with something artificial. Not here though. Look at her brows, her eyes, her skin, everything looks like it's been added here in Photoshop. The hairstyle is great. Here, I don't like makeup. Be very careful with light eyeshadow, especially that are done in such a manner up to your brows. Even if naturally you don't have hooded eyes, now you have it. At least I would like some darkness along the lash line here. The hair color is a little bit too intense for her in my viewpoint. The fact that it's overall color, it's good. She looks more or less clean here. Even though her hair is slightly rounded at the bottom, I like this because the overall outline of the hair is slightly elongated. And here, if you look at the makeup and then the hair, we can all understand that this is basically same look. But even though it's a different picture and different lighting, I can tell same things as I said for the previous picture. Too light eyeshadow, too dark hair color, just because look at the hair color and her eyes. Her eyes look empty here. This is sometimes what's happening if you have too dark hair color. Your eyes just get lost, blended, blurred. And of course, if we had more makeup, more powerful lash line, we would make that dark hair work for her a little bit more. But still, we want your hair work for you, whether you have makeup or you have no makeup. Unless you are at the stage of experiments, which is also great. I know some women who still go for a natural hair color and they still do brighter makeup, use certain colors in their clothes just because they are very happy with this kind of hair color at this stage of their life. It's important for them. So they want to go for that. So if that's the case, then no problem. But only if heavier makeup is resolving that problem for you. If it looks very much in harmony after you have this more heavy makeup. Now, I combine these two pictures together just to show you that I like both of them. On the left, we can see this brown hair color without that strange blue makeup, and you can already see how clean that looks. Hair looks sleek, shiny, healthy, blunt edged cut. It fits to the brows. The look is very natural, clean, and very fresh. And I also like it when she goes platinum blonde. I think that suits to her. Maybe slightly darker roots would be a little bit better for me, but just slightly darker, not too much. And she has this beautiful, long, straight, bleached hair, which is great. Here, I also like how she looks. I probably would do her eyes a little bit darker. Again, I don't like this light blue or green eyeshadow almost on anyone. It's very rare when I like it on someone. Maybe on someone even lighter than her. I like that she has darker lashes here though. It is already supporting the eyes slightly. The color is very gentle, very beautiful on her. She's tanned here, which is great. If she wasn't tanned, I think her hair would look a little bit too yellow for her, and we would want to tone it a little bit so it would be more ashy. If we talk about hairstyle, I still prefer her with more straight hair, or if we talk about these curls, maybe longer hair would work better with the curls. It would give us more vertical line. But I think it's not bad here as well, because by the face we see that diagonal straight line, which is great. If she had curls by the face, you would see big difference. Here, I also like this look. That very fresh, very blunt haircut, and that wave and curl that was made just in the center of the hair. You can see the ends are sticking out and being straight, which became popular quite recently, actually. And I think it looks great because it keeps that geometric shape, but she still has this wave. I noticed that she doesn't like heavy makeup, and I can understand that because she's quite light. She doesn't want to overpower herself with makeup, but if it was just a little bit more by the lash line, I think it would still be great. But I like this makeup too, and I think it's very fresh on her. Now let's look at Kate Moss. I think this is her natural hair color, ashy blonde. She has hazel eyes, quite light skin. There were times when she had darker hair, almost black or very dark brown. And you know what? I like it on her. I think she looks very clean with this hair color. Still, as I told you before, when a woman was born with more light hair color and with more hazel eyes, sometimes that dark and intense hair color can make their eyes look quite empty. On these pictures, we don't see this. This is why I like it. Her eyes are not lost here. But if we saw her in real life, we probably would see how her eyes look like a dirty glass. So sometimes they get lost in that. When we look at that picture, I love this photo session. It's a great makeup, great lighting, great everything, and I love the hairstyle here as well. But it's photo session, so in real life, she would not look like that, of course. And you can actually see her eye color here in this picture very well. So it's slightly muddy, light brown or slightly hazel. Just imagine black hair color here on this picture. You would know what I mean. She's blonde naturally. So this is her most often hair color and hairstyle. Her hairstyle is always slightly untidy. This is just her vibe. We recognize her by this hair. However, I love her with sleek hair. And I think this blonde looks amazing on her. And I think the best blonde for her is in the middle. It's not very ashy and it's not very warm at the same time. Maybe if she had her hair a bit more tidy, she would look even better than that. Like here, for example, I think that looks great on her. I know it's not her style. She doesn't go for that most of the time, but I like the bangs. I love the hair. The hair looks very thick and very healthy. It's overall blonde and it looks stunning on her. And of course, she has her signature makeup. Many years ago, I did transformation into Kate Moss on my channel, so you can check that out. And it's interesting because she has quite small eyes and she's making them also small with her makeup. She doesn't make them larger. She's darkening her waterline, which is normally a big no-no for everybody. People want to make their eyes bigger. No, it's not necessary. You can make your eyes smaller and look even better. This is one of my favorite pictures of her. I think the makeup is by Charlotte Tilbury. When they started collaborating, Charlotte loves a little bit more bronzed, polished makeup. Cate is used to that London rock and roll style, but Charlotte is making her look a little bit more glamorous, and we can see a bit more glamorous hair here too, and I love her with this hair. You can see how elegant and healthy she looks with this very sleek hair when it's not untidy, when it's not tousled. This is another of her looks that I like. Yeah, slightly untidy hair. It's more of that London rock and roll style, and she has this bright red lips, very minimalistic eye makeup, but still quite intense lash line, which is very important, especially in a red lip makeup. When you do red lip makeup, you can try make your eyes quite empty like she has here, and her eyes are very hooded, and she doesn't do anything with this, which is another great point. You don't have to do anything with your hooded eyes sometimes. Just make your lash line very rich, dark. Make your lashes with mascara, do red lips, and make your brows just natural and good, close to your roots color. And I love this almost overall blonde on her. It looks quite clean. And also similar here. Red lips, very dark lash line, almost no brows, but they're actually same color as her roots. And her hair here looks great. Now let's go to Cate Blanchett, and she has lighter coloration. She has blue eyes, very light skin, and I think dark ashy blonde naturally. So you can see pretty much similar hair coloration on these both pictures, but on the left it's untidy curls, which is not looking quite clean on them. On the right is much better, despite of those stripes on her hair, which I don't quite like. I think she looks better with overall hair color, whether it would be slightly darker as her roots here or slightly lighter. I love these pictures too. You can see as far as she's very light, she doesn't have much makeup here. She has very hooded eyes as well. She doesn't try to fight with it or do something strange with her makeup. Just dark black lash line, beautiful brows, rosy lips. Sometimes that's all you need basically to make yourself look amazing. So make your hair work for you and you will shine. On the left, I love this hair color very much. The roots are slightly darker, which gives that sense of natural hair, not super bleached from the roots. So it's not cheapening the look. It's quite expensive actually. I just don't like that too wispy ends. I would make her ends a little bit more blunt, a bit more thick looking. Now picture on the right. It's 2000 thing, yeah? Very light top, slightly darker ends. I don't like it very much. I think she would look a little bit better with slightly darker roots. And I don't like the hairstyle. I just like that it's away from the face. I think she looks great with that. I love these two pictures with slightly darker hair color. I think it's quite close to her natural hair color, and it's great. Her face is opened, her hair is very sculpted in both cases, so you can see shorter hair, longer hair, both work for dramatics. It just has to be off the face preferably, if you can make it, and sculpted, or at least not wispy. When it's not wispy, it's already working for you. And stunning no makeup look. Again, precise lash line, rosy lips, beautiful brows, natural brows, some blush if you want, and you're good. Here we can see that rounded hairstyle that doesn't look good on dramatics. It makes them look so much older and very dowdy normally. So even if that hair would be slightly more vertical, especially more flat on the sides, I would say, closer to her ears, not that rounded in the outline, that would already be better. It would be just a regular blunt bob. But here it's made in such a manner that it gives us that ball. The makeup here is great. I love that it's overall hair color. It still gives her that clean effect. I'm not sure that I'm a fan of this particular tone on her. I think she looks better with cool blonde. But the plus point of this hair tone is that it's not very dark or not very bright or very red or orange. Just the fact that it's slightly lighter on the scale, it's slightly more ashy, that's already working for her. Here we can see bright red. I love the makeup. I would add a little bit more on the upper lid though. I'm not a big fan of an empty upper lid and heavier lower lid. It reminds us of the 80s, but it's quite clean looking. So in terms of hair color, I think it's too bright for her. I love the hairstyle though. Here she has this darker hair color, and I think that it is too heavy for her just because it slightly accentuates the shadows on her face. And as far as she has very delicate skin, very light, very translucent. So everything heavy like that is just reflected on the sides of her nose, under her cheeks, under her chin, and is making her face look more heavy than it actually is. So this is why I think when she sticks to blonde, all the surfaces of her face are lightened up with this blonde and she looks very translucent. Like here, we almost don't see any shadows on her face. Now here she has this boyish haircut and I like it more on the left, both in color and in haircut, because haircut is more geometric looking, it's more vertical looking. Yes, it's slightly tousled, but it's away from her face and it gives us that verticalness because on the sides she doesn't have much hair. So she looks quite sleek, and normally that kind of a haircut fits to more thin-boned women with thinner bone structure in their faces. And I like the hair color. Light hair color looks better on her in my viewpoint. If you look at the right picture, we can see that wispiness. There's loads of hair on the sides, loads of feathers are hanging to her face, and if you remember, Kibbe in the book said that they just don't look as good with that. Also, hair color is not bad, but it's just not as good as blonde in my viewpoint. I just think she's being much more herself on the left picture than on the right. Here, I think it's 90s. Beautiful picture is made with beautiful diffused light. We don't see any shadows on her face. Of course, in real life, it would look a little bit different. I love this makeup. It's very beautiful smoky eye that would look great on any dramatic. Her brows are light. They're fitting to her natural hair color. Now, what I don't like about this is the haircut. And in that video where I discussed haircut and hair color and how they combined together, you probably remember that if you're making those highlights on short pixie hair, it can look patchy and untidy. So we can almost see that chopped pieces on her hair. And of course that famous wet effect look that was very popular in the 90s, I assume, maybe 2000s. So I would just change hairstyle or hair color. I would make her hair color more clean here, more bleached probably, and hairstyle a little bit more different. I would do a little bit shorter, open her face a little bit more, and cut off on the back. Here I like it, but in my viewpoint, a little bit too much blush, too much color, too much that freshness. So I would add a little bit more color in the eyes. Just in general, I would not put too much blush on dramatics. Those fresh cheeks look a little bit better on naturals. I'm not saying that they look better when they're pale. In some cases, though, it's true. It's just more clean looking. Even though I think she's more cool in coloration, that yellow is not that bad on her because it's overall color. So just in general, it looks quite clean on her. I still prefer her with more cool color though. And I love both hairstyles. This is too yellow in my viewpoint. Too dark roots as well. It's giving that slight dirtiness to her look. It's not clean anymore. And her makeup also is not very dramatic. I think it's just too blended for her. She can go for heavier makeup, but it just should not be that blended outwards. I like the hairstyle. It's very 50s/40s. Looks great on them. This is one of my favorite hairs on her because it's quite bleached blonde. It's geometric, it's asymmetric, and it's quite clean looking. And here we can see that makeup is still blended smoky eye, but it's just not super blended. It stays within her eye shape, which is great. It still keeps it very clean and sharp looking. And last but not least, Cheryl Lee Ralph. We can see a couple of 80s pictures, and I love this picture on the left. Remember David Kibbe said, even though the woman can have very curly hair naturally, you don't have to straighten your curls to make your hair sleek. It's enough that you cut it in more geometric shape. It would be more triangular or something. And I like this slightly trapeze shape of her hair on the left. And the makeup, even though it's 80s, I love it so much. On the right, I'm not a big fan of this super colorful, really 80s makeup, something that we don't do anymore. The hair is a little bit too fluffy for me. I like that it's elongated, it's kind of vertical, but it looks like a fur, so if she had it a bit more wet effect, maybe with her afro hair, that would be a bit better. Now this is how dramatics look with that rounded hairstyles, whether it's big rounded curls or just rounded outline of a hairstyle in general. Their faces, their necks, their shoulders, their bodies in general look a little bit more squarish or geometric or more angular than they actually are, just as a contrast with this soft rounded outline. They need more geometry or sleekness. Now here, I love how she looks. The fact that the hair is long is giving us more vertical line. I still prefer her with more sleek and more geometric hair than this though. I love her makeup here. Now these two pictures, I love them both. On the left, I would make the ends of her hair just a little bit more blunt, make them more in triangular shape. On the right, she has this perfect trapeze geometric shape, even though her hair is slightly waved. You can see these ends are sticking out that are creating that more geometric, more sharp shape, which is great for them. The makeup is stunning, the clothes is great. Here, there's two pictures where she has this sleek hair, and I like it a little bit more on the left when she has this smaller afro hair and that central parting. Her hair looks just more geometric, more sleek in this case than on the right. On the right, it just looks a bit more rounded, maybe because of those curls. But still, it's hard to tell because those two pictures are slightly different. Here she has this straight and sleek hair, and I love it very much on her. I think she looks absolutely stunning with this hair. The makeup is great on her. Here she has this straight bob and central parting. Again, I love it very much. And she has this great makeup. You can see that black lash line, very casual look, and she just looks very clean and great. This is one of my favorite looks of her. Look at that. That hair is great because it looks quite geometric on her. It opens her face, first of all. It's not those feathers that are hiding her face. The color is just perfect. Beautiful brows, amazing makeup, and she just looks stunning.
Right, that's it. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope you liked the video. I will see you very soon. Bye-bye.